What's up guys, today we are going to be talking about Lee Cronin's The Mummy. And I'm gonna be honest, this film just really divided me. I think it's the most divisive film for me in a long time. Because here's the thing, this film has been getting great and awful reactions. And normally when a film gets those, it turns out just being okay. However, this film is different. This film is special because it is not just okay, but it's not bad and it's not good. In fact, I'm having trouble fully articulating what it is. But this whole situation just kind of saddens me. I mean, it's by the director of Evil Dead Rise. I expected something better. And I see a lot of comments going like, oh wow, I came for the craziness. I came for the gore. And don't get me wrong. I love gory horror movies as much as the next guy. But I feel like there should be a little bit of story. And the thing about this film is there is story, and it actually focuses on the story too much. The thing is, they do this whole thing with how sad the family is, and that's all cool, that's fine and dandy. But it takes way long to get where the movie is going because of that. My math could have been wrong because I was trying to account for all the trailers and stuff, but I subtly peeked at the time on my phone in the movie theater. And we were probably about an hour in, and all that happened was Katie was just going grrr, doing spooky things. The plot hadn't really kicked into gear yet. And it was at about this point where I was just like, oh boy. See, I can't help but to compare this film to Evil Dead Rise, because this film is not a mummy movie, but I kind of expected that going in. So I was fine with that. I wasn't good with it, but I was fine with it. I'm a bit disappointed they didn't lean into fully the mummy horror, because mummy horror is right there, but for some reason, everyone's avoiding it. I think a faithful mummy horror film could actually be really good, just like a faithful vampire film is really good. I love Nosferatu, by the way. But here they just slapped a mummy title on a bad Evil Dead film. By that, I don't mean the movie is bad, I mean it would be bad for Evil Dead standards. Every single Evil Dead film is great, by the way, but hey, I'm getting off topic. See, this film is very hard not to compare to Rise, judging by it's basically the same concept, the same director, and basically the same style. But it almost seems like Rise would be the film that Lee Cronin makes after this, if that makes any sense, because Rise improves on everything that this film does. It has quieter moments, more developed characters, and those characters are developed way faster. Evil Dead Rise did a 10 out of 10 version of this film in an hour and a half. Meanwhile, this film takes more than 2 hours. That's insane! And what sucks is this film slows down so much to focus on these characters, and still ends up with us not caring about the characters. And also, there's just some really dark stuff brought up when the police think about what could have happened to Katie. Just really messed up stuff that kind of takes the fun out of a horror film. They just treat it way too seriously, and I think the film was meant to be semi-comedic, and some of the things they say, I kind of think throws off the tone a little bit. This film is just constantly loud, it makes every single sound super loud, it makes every single moment have tons of tension. So when big moments actually happen, spoilers, Katie's skin, she just peels off her skin with her brother. When big moments happen like that, it's kind of just oh, of course that would happen, instead of having the shock value. Opposed to Evil Dead Rise, where there's a bunch of quieter moments kind of sprinkled throughout. So when the big moment happens, it kind of makes you freak out a bit. This film kind of left me with a headache. However, there are a couple of saving factors with this film. And the first one is, this film has sauce, and I mean a lot of sauce. Sure, people mention the split diopter shots, and those are pretty cool. But also, the camera just moves throughout this film in pretty cool ways. The scene when the woman is giving candy to Katie and the camera goes super close to her and makes you super uncomfortable. Or when Katie's ripping off her skin and the camera goes super close to it. Like, that was pretty cool. It makes you feel super uneasy. This film does a pretty good job at making you uneasy. I've seen a lot of horror films try to be like the goriest thing ever. And a lot of things that they're missing is that it kind of feels too clean, you know? Like, I wasn't really thinking about it at the time, but after seeing this film, like, this film really just gets into the gore. It shoves you head first, and it just leaves you with such an incredible, uneasy feeling. It makes you leave the theater kind of feeling like a little bit dirty. Also, this is a bit overused, as in some scenes the camera just goes super close and I just can't tell what's going on. And also, the ending just kind of feels like super duper rushed. And to be honest, I didn't really like the ending all that much. The whole thing was supposed to be kind of like moving on from Katie's like disappearance or supposed death, and then the film just kind of doesn't do that. Or maybe it's after your kid goes through something traumatic, they're not the same, but then it doesn't really dive into those themes, like, at all. But hey, I would be lying if I were to say I wouldn't want to see another Lee Cronin film. He mentioned that he wants to do the Nightmare on Elm Street. I think it could actually be really cool as long as he actually does a Nightmare on Elm Street film instead of another Evil Dead / Exorcist film. Because if he takes the criticism, I think this dude has so much potential as a filmmaker. All he needs to know is bigger is better in moderation. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please have a great day. Comment your thoughts on the film down below. Like and subscribe. And good. Hello, sorry the audio is weird. This is post-production Ben talking. I forgot to talk about one of my complaints, and that is that the end kind of felt like a bunch of studio notes because, like, she rips her skin off, and then at the end she's just fine. Like, she looks completely normal. It kind of feels like the director had a darker version for the ending, but then the studio got in the way. Anyway, goodbye for real this time. Sorry.